You are tuned in to What a Baltimore Online Radio. Please note that the views and opinions expressed are of the host and not of Lady J Media. Thank you and enjoy the show. Welcome to People's Power Assembly, where their boots are always on the ground. They fight for justice and they fight for you. Stay tuned.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the People's Power Hour, sponsored by the People's Power Assembly and the Prisoners Solidarity Committee. You can follow us on Facebook, People's Power Assembly, or sign up on our webpage, peoplespowerassembly.org. It's important to talk, but it's more important to act. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so glad to be here this evening. And we are here to talk about this fight. We're still fighting for the rights of the unemployed. The attorney is here. Alec is here to Summerfield to talk about some updates, and Bill Gooden is here. Miss Van's going to come on, and so is Mr. Andre. And we're going to continue our discussions. We're going to talk about our plans for, Christmas is approaching. We have some plans scheduled prior to that. So go ahead, Alec, and talk about what's going on.
Great. Thank you, Joyce. And it's good to be on here with you and Mr. Bill Gooden. So I just want to give a sort of a quick update. For people who have or haven't been following it, we have been embroiled. We, being the Unemployed Workers Union, have been embroiled in a fight with the state of Maryland around the releasing of pandemic unemployment insurance benefits. Essentially, the money that was funded through the CARES Act and other federal bills that was supposed to be handed out broadly and liberally to the public during this pandemic crisis that has just really hurt the economy. So we have been in that fight since June, and our first lawsuit was dismissed, but we did achieve some victories. We got, some people's issues sorted out, and we fought to get the $300 a week extended through September. But now we're fighting for the people who never got any of their money. And, we sort of have regrouped and we have a new legal strategy. And what we're working on right now, so the fancy legal term for it is called a writ of mandamus. But the general idea is that we want people who are still having these issues with either pending identity verification. So the state says we need to verify your identity and we can't give you your benefits, and then they ignore your documentation, or they just never follow up. There are people who is as long as 2 years in pending identity verification, or you're just put in this sort of nebulous on hold status. Mm-hmm. And so if you're having either of those issues, come to the Solidarity Center, where we hold our unemployment workers clinic every Saturday starting at noon. And the whole idea is you come in and we're going to have you fill out an affidavit if your issue is one of those two, and we're going to get you as a plaintiff on our petition for the court to review the Department of Labor's decision not to distribute benefits based on these two issues. And we're asking the court to force the unemployment division of the Department of Labor to do their job. And whether we get it through just sort of because in the past we had some success with, when we put somebody's name on the lawsuit, suddenly their issue gets. So this is just sort of a way of pushing through our individual grievances and forcing it, our grievances, and forcing our hand, because our strategy is we're going to keep you in court. We're going to keep you expending resources until you do the right thing here.
Exactly. That's right.
So, the other thing we're doing Saturdays at noon is if people have been accused of overpayments we're going to help you file an appeal or a waiver. And we've had some success with that. We worked on some waivers just over the weekend. So please, if you have any of those problems, come in Saturday at noon. We'll either get you on the lawsuit and we are trying to get a lot of people on this lawsuit, like a lot, or we'll help you file your waiver or your appeal, whatever's appropriate for your alleged overpayment. The address is 2011 North Charles Street. Representatives and our members will be there every Saturday at noon. So it's 2011 North Charles Street here in Baltimore. From there.
Exactly. Once again, come on out. These are your monies, and people are still being evicted. Oh, Dr. J, Miss Van says she did not get the link. If you could send that to her, I would appreciate it. Thank you. But it is important to come out. These are your monies. People are still being evicted. There are so many new homeless families in Baltimore. There are judges who are agreeing with these evictions, and people who rightly should be evicted, they aren't being evicted. They're telling you that you're going to have to give people 75 days. But somehow these landlords are skirting around the issues, and they are getting people evicted. So it is important that you come to the Solidarity Center at 2011 North Charles Street, Saturdays, noon. Come on out. It is worth it. And please do not give up. There are people who text me and, all they do is complain about the situation, but you're not coming out to you have to fight for your money. Now, we can fight for you, but it's going to be better if you come out and join the fight. Every time there is a protest, get up. Just, unfortunately, you're not in a position where you're working. You're trying to get your money. Come on out, fight for your money, and we'll see what's going on. We'll see what's going on. There are people who are texting now saying that they can't get on the show, and I'm not sure why. They just need to be following What Up Baltimore online radio. Yeah, but it is very, very important. There's going to be a session on Saturday. Is that right, Alex?
Yes, that is.
Okay, good. And so I know Miss Sharon said something about that there could possibly be a protest at,
yes.
Tiffany Robinson's house. I want to be involved.
I'm happy to agree. So December 18th, just keep your eye on your email. December 18th, people are planning a sort of Christmas Carol protest to Tiffany Robinson's house in Happy Grace. So just keep your eye on your email for updates and details.
That's exactly right. Because everybody needs to be there. Because Tiffany Robinson, she has money. And these unemployed workers, they do not have money. Like it's absolutely depressing. Even when I was in the hospital, there were people who were texting me and saying, I'm going to lose my car. I'm going to lose my house. And it's just not fair. It's just not fair. I mean, I'm telling you, Governor Hogan must have no empathy, I don't know what's going on with him. Anybody else have any comments? Mr. Andre, I know you just got on. Mr. Bill, go ahead, Bill. Tell me what you think about this continued unemployment crisis. New homeless people in Baltimore, people living in backyards. Go ahead. Tell me what your thoughts are.
First, let me just say thank you, for being the host, and thank you to Dr. J for having us, and thank you to the All People Congress for allowing me to share some of this space. First and foremost, I always say this: I have the utmost respect and love for the People Power Assembly, because the issues they fighting for issues constantly that a lot of us should be fighting for. And I always say without shame that a lot of things we fighting for, we could have victories if the people would join the fight.
There's
right?
Numbers.
So, the unfortunate thing is that people wants to get the rewards, but they want other people to do the fighting for them, right? So even with the victories that Alan talked about, and I love and respect you, Alan. Thank you so much. even the victories that he's talking about, then it's victories, but our victories could be so much greater
On a grand
if
scale.
people would see their value and standing up for themselves and supporting the issues that people is fighting for. See,
Right.
I always say we losing because the people not fighting. The people want us to win, but the people don't want us to join us to help us to win, right? So,
That's right.
even when you talk about the unemployment situation, listen, it's almost enough to make all of us cry that when you got 25 people standing up protesting, you got thousands of people not getting that unemployment.
Right.
That's a shame. You know what I'm saying? And people shouldn't tolerate that, right? But I guess on the flip side, and I'm going to shut down so Andre can come in because I can talk a lot. But on the flip
We want you to talk. It's okay.
on the flip side, from my personal opinion, is that I think that as this system constantly start to decline and crumble, it's circumstances that's gonna force people to come out and join us to fight for them, right? And
Right.
them times is coming when people lose their homes, when people ain't got nothing to eat, when people ain't got no jobs, and eventually all the food that all these people giving away now, some of that stuff gonna dry up.
Yeah,
You
it
know what I'm
is.
saying? So, it's unfortunate, but people gonna almost have to be forced to join the people that's fighting for them because they're not gonna do it by themselves. And that's
Right.
the sad thing, right? So,
Right.
that's why a lot of times I find it just so much harder because we right. You know what I'm saying? That's the good thing is that we always right in terms of what we're fighting for. But it's the people who's wrong for not standing up with us and hoping that we have victories while they sit down.
Right. Right. Absolutely. We cannot ill afford to be still. We have to be out there making noise. Everybody. There's so many people. I get texts all the time. Unemployed workers, come on. This is your money. I know you want your money. There are people who are owed $20,000, $30,000, $19,000. Like, and I think sometimes people really get I think there's that stress factor involved. There's that anxiety. We're about to go into a new year. People need their money. Mr. Andre, what are your thoughts about that? I want everybody to join the fight. I want us to be from the end of Utah all the way back to, Dolphin Street. Let's do this. Come on, y'all.
But
Go
one
ahead,
more
Mr.
thing,
Andre.
one more thing, if I can, real quick,
Go
and it's
ahead.
important, and people need to get off because I hear people all the time say about what the governor is giving us or what Donald Trump. Man, listen, they ain't giving you a damn thing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Every damn you get is the money that belongs to you. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
exactly right.
The government just acts as a bank where we putting our money into the bank. So when
Right.
it's time to withdraw our money, then we need to be able to withdraw our money.
Absolutely. That's right. They just disperse it. That's it. That's it, Bill. You're right. Go ahead, Mr. Andre. Talk about this. We need everybody to join the fight. Open your mic. Open your mic.
Can't hear you, Andre.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We hear you now.
Okay.
Good.
Because my mic wasn't showing muted. What was I saying? It is important for everybody to come out. History has taught us that when we stand up and fight, we win. You only have to look at the civil rights movement. You only have to look at the struggles of the Black liberation movements from the 1970s. And when people, in other words, people sit quietly, no one pays attention.
Solid.
That
I
old,
would
that
agree.
old
Yeah.
corny old line they taught us as a child, the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Absolutely.
Well, it's time to squeak. It's time to make a loud squeak. And I'm glad that we're not stopping because the COVID unemployment payments have ended. There are people that are still in trouble, people that are still behind on their bills. The
Absolutely.
holiday season is coming. It's going to be devastating. People not being able to pay their bills and their holidays. And one thing that I've been concerned about with all summer is I don't know the exact date, but the date when that eviction um, period, that moratorium on evictions that
August 15th, it ended.
President Biden put out. I'd like to know: are there people being forced out of their homes,
Yes.
losing their homes, foreclosing, evicted from for not being able to pay rent,
Yes.
and they're, I'm hoping there will indeed be a good clamor so that people will come out and protest, because there's no reason for these people to lose their homes. Where are
Right.
you going to put these people? Their
Right.
homes, well, for them, their children, their belongings. It's a complete disgrace, and more than just the people that are unemployed should be coming out when we at our next demonstration against this. Anybody that knows somebody that's unemployed, you should be coming out to stand up and support your friends, your neighbors, your relatives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have unemployed people and every time there's an opportunity, I'm out there, Um, I think what's happening is, and I know that they're getting stressed out. There are so many people who are depressed. But we don't want you to get so depressed that you just give up the fight. We aren't going to hand Governor Hogan a win. We just are not going to do that. It is, it is very, very, it's vital that you come out, that you speak your piece, that um, you have to say, oh, I don't like what you're doing. Silence means that you agree with what's going on. And I know that people do not agree. There are so many new homeless people. I was talking to a lady. She is now living in her car and she just got a job. Her landlord forced her out. Now, I need to do some research and find out, does anybody know why these landlords are able to get away with what they do? Let me tell you, they're vandalizing their own properties so that they're making it unsafe for the tenant to live there. I know an actual landlord who had all the windows busted out of the property.
Hmm.
So he would, have to come in and then board up the windows. And then what he did was he boarded up that lady's house with her furniture in there. Nobody could get back in there. Now, I think that is criminal. It is so disheartening, but I think that is criminal.
It
So
is.
what is happening? Why are they being allowed to do these things?
Well, as we always say, there's one set of rules for them, one set of rules for us. The,
Absolutely.
the government and the big business is on the side of the landlords, because the landlords are a business. It's just they're not running a store or a hotel or a restaurant. They're renting homes. That is their business, to rent homes to people. And it's easy for them to get away because they have the upper hand. So if we were to go to court, look at what that woman may have to do to get back. She would have
Right.
to go to
Right.
court and file for another court date to be heard. That would be 2, 3 months away.
Right.
Meanwhile, all this woman's belongings are nailed up inside of this
And
house
that's the truth.
by that
Absolutely.
landlord. And in that 3 months time, he could quietly, no one would even know, come in and move her furniture out, fix the place up,
Absolutely.
and rent it to
Absolutely.
someone else.
Yeah, they're vandalizing their own properties just to get
Hmm.
tenants out. Now, if everybody just, spoke up, like, call legal aid, call somebody, call the police. Like, I'm having problems with my landlord, help me to, keep my home. Like, I think, for the most part, there are hey, Miss Van, hey, I think there are places, and I know Miss Van was talking about a landlord who accepted funds from the city and then still tried to do an eviction, actually did do it, and then had to come in the next day, and the police made them put all the ladies' furniture back in the house. You know, because once
Mhm.
you accept the money from the mayor's office, you know, in the city of Baltimore, you have to sign an agreement that you will not pursue any sort of evictions against this tenant. But the problem with the program, and I, you know, I'm right out there just trying to help people get funds and everything. That's what I do. Absolutely. The funds are very slow to pay out.
Mhm.
Now, you'll get the funds even if you need a year's worth of rent, you'll get those monies, but it is very, very you know what, very, very slow to pay out. So, Mr. Andre, I'm going to ask you to read these comments because I cannot see. I cannot see. So, if you could read those chat comments for me so we can talk about that, because people are commenting and we need to know who we need to help.
Uh, oh, the comments. Okay,
Yes,
wait a
read
minute.
the
I gotta
comments. Thank you
click
so
over it.
much.
I'm sorry, I was looking at private chats.
My glasses are in my car.
All right. Um, One comment is Kevin Scott. No matter how hard you fight, if the system don't want you to have it, you won't get it. The system must be replaced with a new system for the people.
Now, we agree with that, Mr.
Now,
Scott, but we
that
still
it
want you to
does.
fight.
We do need a new system, and you can't get the new system unless you fight for it and you educate and
Absolutely.
you do consciousness raising of the community and let them know this has not worked. They say it's going to work. They know it won't work. Our interests are directly opposed to their interests because they're there to make money off of us. We're here just trying to make a living.
That's exactly.
So
We know the system is broken,
the
Mr. Scott.
system that puts money as the head of everything must be replaced with a system that supports people and people's needs.
Absolutely. Mr. Scott, I need you to call the People's Power Assembly. I need you to show up. Even if you are employed, I need you to show up. You know, if there's anybody in your family, if you have a friend that's unemployed, come on out. The system is absolutely broken. You need to come out. You need to get on the mic. You need to say it loud and clear. We all know it's broken. Mr. Bill, you know it's broken, right? It's broken. Yep, it's broken. Miss Van, you know it's broken, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yes.
So if I may add on to
Go ahead.
that,
Go
so
ahead. Glad to have you on the show. Go ahead.
thank you. Hi, Mr. Goody Andre. So
Hello.
Hey,
so
man,
I've been doing like a little. I'm blessed. I've been doing a little research and on the eviction, and so I found on the article was what landlords or what properties taking people in for evictions, no deposit. So the property that came available was where Lady Dr. J went to help that young lady get out of that building. And I said, wow, I said, this looked familiar. So when I Googled it, that's where they letting people move in and they are charging them they're going by your income because you know they're losing tenants. And when I saw that you have to go online and see it for yourself, sis, it is no way that they are taking tenants in and they're going by your income.
Wow. Wow. See, a lot of times, you know, there's fraudulent information. Like sometimes we have to, well, all the time. I need folks to vet the information that they're seeing on Facebook, just like you did, like you checked that out, Miss Van. Like we have to make sure that we're getting the right information, that we're getting quality information. We cannot believe everything that we read
Mm-hmm.
on. Oh,
She must have logged out.
okay, all
I
right.
think, okay.
We can't believe everything that we're reading on Facebook, that we're reading on social media. You know, like a lot of times these landlords, and I'm going to give people a number. If you are still having issues paying your rent, your landlord is threatening eviction, the number to call is 410-396-5555. Make sure you call that number. It's 410-396-5555. That's the mayor's and the Baltimore City program. Now, I will tell these people are absolutely working day and night. Saturdays, some people are in their office on Sundays trying
Mm-hmm.
to help people keep their homes. I do know an instance where a landlord's credentialing was not right. He had a lease on
Mhm.
a napkin. He got funds for his tenant. Now, I mean, they're helping everybody. I don't understand how you write a lease on a napkin. I guess it's an agreement to rent. Got the money. So everybody, they have funds. They have funds, and I got onto a meeting or something, and Governor Hogan is not getting these funds back. They were trying to take them away, but these are Baltimore City funds. If you live in the city, that's the number to call. I am not familiar without getting off and for the number for Baltimore City, but I will give it to Miss Sharon for Saturday for Baltimore County. That 410-396-5555 is for the city. Call that number. Let somebody know that you're facing eviction. Get your rent paid. Any
So if
other
they need
comments?
Baltimore, so
Go
if they
ahead.
need
Go ahead, ma'am. Huh?
if they need Baltimore County, I think they should call the 396-3100 and then let them
Okay.
give them the phone number to the county. But a lot of the articles that I go under Baltimore City, the evictions, and there's so many. You have to go on there to actually see it for yourself how these landlords are doing illegal evictions. They
Yes,
have made up lease
yes,
that
ma'am.
don't even belong to the people. It's
You're right.
heartbreaking.
You're right. It is. It is. Like I just there was a young lady who was on the show earlier
Mhm.
in the year was doing fine, but
Mhm.
now they've cut off her benefits and her husband's, and it's a very unfortunate situation. The landlord lives next door. So he is like really, really making it hard. He's called Baltimore County Parole and Probation on her husband. And he's like, he's driving drunk. And none of these things are true. But, I guess they have to investigate everything, like he's making it really, really hard for I don't know. I don't think I would live next door to my landlord anyway. No way.
Absolutely.
No way. If
It's
I
just it's just heartbreaking. And sometimes when I hear the horror stories, I just cry. My neighbor that lives across the street, and I won't use her name, but she lived in that house for I lived in my house for 18. She lived over there for maybe I want to say 7 years. She's
wow.
in a situation almost like everyone else. And she was working at Hawkins. They fired her. Well, they let her go because the what she makes salary a year, they feel like if I hire somebody else, I could pay them less, then
And
I can let her go.
Mhm.
entry
And
level.
that's what happened. Yes. And so the landlord kept coming to her house like you mentioned, sis, and they was threatening her to the point that he called child protective services, and they removed her two younger
Wow.
children out
Wow.
the house because he had turned her gas and electric off and said that she wasn't paying the bill. And that's how they removed the children, because they said it was no food in the house and no electric while
Wow.
she living in the house with the
Mhm.
children.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Wow.
she's living over there in the cold and the kids are in the system.
That's such a shame. Mr. Andre, I need you to read this new comment that we have up here. What's going on with that?
Hold on. Which one
We,
is
The latest one?
the
I
one in
got it.
blue?
I got it, Andre.
Okay.
Go
We
ahead.
have,
Go ahead,
we,
Bill.
we have been fighting that same fight for generations, protesting and demonstrating petitions. History proved that this kind of fighting not working. Now, if I can, I just want to
Go
comment.
ahead. Go
You know,
answer
I
it,
mean,
Bill.
listen. I always say, look, if what other people's not doing not working, then you need to create what's gonna work, right?
Right. Tell us.
I think that we have to find on every level that we can. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
When people saying that education is the way, then education ain't the way for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if the same people that treat you bad is the same people that educate you, they never gonna educate you to how you can free yourself, right? So you know
Right.
what we don't need to do, in my personal opinion, is be so critical of how each other's fighting, because that would help to stop people from fighting, right? So if
Mhm.
That's
you're trying
right.
Right.
to help to
Right.
add to strengthen the people, then just leave the people alone. Don't try to do nothing to throw water into the fire to put out the flame, right?
Come on now.
Because if we just sit back, you know what I'm saying? If we say what Martin Luther King done, or what Malcolm X done, or what Marcus Garvey, or Harriet Tubman, or anybody else, then they didn't have no success. We would be lying. They had success. That's
They
why
had
we right here where we
major
at tonight,
success.
right? So, you know, every little piece of success we get is a victory. Is it the success we want? No, because I think everyone on this here line right now, all of us already agreed to the fact. I said every day, we know the system needs to be crushed. And in
Right.
my opinion, it is tumbling right before our eyes every day. But in the meantime, what do we do until it totally crushed? Do we just sit back and wait, or do we continue to fight?
Right, right. And so we're not going to just sit back. I know that I'm not, Miss Van's not, Bill's not, Mr. Andre's not. We're not just going to sit back. Like, okay, so what if everybody does nothing? Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Join the fight. Whoever made that comment, please, please come out, join the fight. When we're out protesting, okay, like I don't, he said we've had no success. Like, did he say history proves that?
And that's not true.
That's go ahead, Mr.
There's a
Arthur.
very short memory there. We only have to
Absolutely.
go back 1 year. The tremendous people that came out all over the country after the killing of George Floyd and
All over the
Breonna
world.
Taylor and Ahmaud
Come on
Arbery.
now.
Those police that their own department investigated and said, oh, it was justified. That man would never have been to trial, those 4 policemen, if people had not come out and taken to the
That's
streets
right. That's right.
protesting
That's right.
all around the world, not just the country.
Absolutely.
It really showed the true face of the United States, who's always pointing at some other country saying they have human rights abuses, when now the rest of the world can see the closet door has been opened. The
That's
human
exactly
rights
right.
abuses in this country have shown. And if it wasn't for the protests this summer, those 4 policemen wouldn't be on trial. Derek Chauvin wouldn't be in jail. The incredible victory we just had with the
Ahmaud.
3 men that killed Ahmaud Arbery, all 3 of them found guilty.
Guilty. They're going to jail. They're
We
going
still
to
need
jail.
to get the
So,
killers of Breonna Taylor
absolutely.
and Philandro Castile and many, many others, brought to trial. And it's opened up people's eyes that really didn't see, which might not even be their own fault because they're just raised in this country. But it's really opened up the eyes of people around this country to the issue of police brutality.
Absolutely.
So you see, standing up and fighting does make a difference. But we do need the numbers to come
right.
out.
And everything that we're talking about, there is a correlation. Everything that we're talking about, there is a correlation. So what I would suggest to that person who made that comment, please come out. Please come out on Saturday. Come out anytime you hear about a protest, not only about, so this is what we're going to switch gears for a minute. This is directly related. You also need to come out and I'm going to get Bill to talk about this. We're talking when we start protesting at the municipal building. You can't go pay your water bill.
Right.
Even the people who have money to pay their bills, they can't go to the municipal building because it's not open. It has not been open for 18 months. Our mayor is saying it's not safe for the workers. Okay, I'm sure these people are doing nothing at home. Every time you go to that building, there are 2 security people sitting right there. And people have to pay tickets so that they can get the sticker for their automobiles. They're telling you to go online. Then it takes days. You pay your tickets, and then it takes days to get to MDA. So in the meantime, you're riding around with this outdated sticker on your car. You got to put a note in your car. Then it finally gets to MBA. Then you can finally go to MBA. The municipal building needs to be open. It needs to be open. And I know, Bill, you have a lot to say about that. Once again, we're going to protest that. You go ahead, talk about that, Bill. And I'm going to let you get in there, Miss Van, too.
I'm going to comment on that, but I just need to back up for just 1 second real
Okay.
quick if I can. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about things that don't make a difference, then even when y'all fighting for people unemployment rights, go and get one person that got that check because of what you done.
Right.
And ask them how big of a benefit was your fight for them.
We hear them talk about it
Mhm.
all the time, don't we, Miss Van?
So never underestimate the people's power in the people's fight, right? But in
Right.
terms of the municipal building, they did open it up where you go in and pay your bill.
Woo!
But
When did they open it?
it's been open for a few months now, but it's still restrictions in terms of how you can do it. But the
Okay.
bigger issue is this: City Hall is closed. MVA you
Right.
got to make an appointment for. Social
Yes.
Security you got to make an appointment for.
That's right.
All these other city agencies and state agencies you had to make an appointment for. The
Right.
question becomes this: why? So they can't tell you it's because of COVID, because you could go to a concert or a game and you got thousands of people without no mask and they
Yep.
screaming over top of each other's head, right?
Absolutely.
What they doing, and I keep saying this to people, what they doing is they positioning us for in the future, you're gonna have less access to your government and you're gonna have less access to these agencies because they're gonna force you to conduct your business online or either over the phone. And a lot of people that's working will not be working because they're gonna reduce the workforce, right?
True.
Right.
But again, people have to see that for themselves. You can tell people that every day. I mean, just think about it. I mean, just ask your own self the question: why do you have to make an appointment to go to MVA? Why do you have to make an appointment to go to Social Security? Why do you have to make an appointment to go to the agencies that I pay taxes for to be open? But them, the agencies saying they protected me from COVID, but everything else is open. What kind of sense do that make?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
While everybody
Absolutely.
these public officials are attending events with no mask.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I saw that.
Having town hall meetings and everything else.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm saying. So what they're doing is they forcing us. And when people talk about the New World Order, I'm not going to get into what the New World Order is because people believe what they want. But they're forcing us into another way in terms of how they're going to want us to conduct business. And even with this COVID, listen, I'm going to shut down on this. I got my shots, right? Listen, a lot of people died. I can't say what's real and what's not real. I took my shots because I felt that it was real, right?
Right.
But at the same time, there's so much misinformation out there. It's almost like, listen, if this COVID is so bad and we can't go into City Hall, why in the hell would you send my children to school?
Right.
Say it.
You can't say
We're gonna talk about that in 2 weeks.
You can't say that the children is the most precious resources we got, but then you're not protecting them. But a senior citizen that's trying to go and pay that bill, you saying they can't go because I mean, come on, man, just tell the people the truth.
Absolutely. We have a new comment. Either Bill or Mr. Andre, please read that comment. Miss Van, we're going to hear what you have to say. We're going to protest. We're still going to be out there protesting. We're still going to protest no matter what.
Can you see it, Andre?
Read these
I don't
read
see
that
any
comment.
new one.
And it says, and the mayor is attending things with no mask, but buildings is closed. He picks and chooses what he wants to.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah, true. We all know that. We see it. But we're gonna talk about different things probably in 2 weeks, and that's gonna be one of them because I think something is gonna come down the pike, and the mayor is gonna be forced to just like open his mouth and and tell us the truth.
That's so true.
Yeah, folks are gonna put pressure on him. So, but we're gonna get back to this in the couple of minutes that we have left. I want to just and Miss Van, I want you to talk about this too. How vital it is. Like, let me tell you something. If it's one of us, it's all of us. So me, Bill, Miss Van, Mr. Andre. Okay, so we're in this fight. Miss Sharon, Alec is the attorney. He's working so hard. Like, we don't want to just sit back. We're not going to give Governor Hogan a win. He's going to take an L from us. So we're going to be out there every chance we get, not only talking about this unemployment crisis and how this system is broken, we're going to be out there talking about the same thing, how we need access to, these folks who are in charge, how we need to go in person without making an appointment, without MBA telling us that, because now the appointments are June, March. Why should we have to wait that long? We need to fight. We need to keep up the fight. It is so important. Like, I will stop, and sometimes I have this habit of just talking to people. And I'm like, how do you feel about, like, there are people, who say, my cousin has nowhere to live. And so I come from the generation where we just like, okay, I was raised in the same house with my cousins until my cousins got somewhere to live. People are being forced to do that now. So now you have all of these merging families, and sometimes those situations do not work out for the best. You have people and they're under stress,
On
and
top of people
they're
living together.
Yeah. Like the living quarters are crowded because people have, okay, so there's a cousin over here who got evicted. There's a sister who got evicted, and people, they don't want their family members in the street. So therefore, everybody who's making a comment, everybody who's unemployed, who's listening, please, let's crowd the streets. I'm telling you, we don't want to, like, a little bit of people coming out.
Yeah.
And I know the frustration. I know the stress. We see it all the time. We see it. All four of us, we see it. We see it in the faces of people who come, but there are people who do come out. If you are unemployed, we need, like, wherever we're protesting, let's just do it. Go ahead, Ms. Van.
I know Ms. Van wanted to say something, but I wanted to bring up another point after she get through.
Go ahead, Ms. Van.
I speak for everyone on this panel. I mean, Andre and Mr. Goody said more than enough, and it was almost church up in here. Okay,
Yeah.
so if we can get out there and protest for people, because we may not be experiencing the situations that everybody else is unemployed and waiting for their unemployment, but we're out there fighting for them. And if you could get out there and you could fight for march in the streets, national, like Andre said, for George Floyd, Freddie Gray, and all the above, why can't we flood the streets for the unemployment, for the governor to give y'all money? You can't put the blame all on Brandon, because the governor is a bully to him, and don't want him to say nothing, or he can't do nothing. And it's a shame that he got to go all the way over Larry Hogan's head to go to Biden. It's like Biden and him is clicking and communicating. But my thing is this: we have to stop pointing the finger and blaming. But if you keep giving up, you giving them the say so to say it's okay. You can't give somebody the okay when you need this, and everybody can't fight for just 1 or 2 or 10 people. When we out there together, it be 7 of us and we out there fighting. We need people to come out and come and fight. If you don't fight, you're gonna fall for anything, and we gotta stop doing this.
And
Right.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Bill. Go ahead.
Now, the only thing I wanted to make a point of is this, and that's why I say, the media is such a big influence of people, because people believe what they read and what they hear, right?
Right. But don't believe the hype.
Here's another example, right? They're putting more speed cameras up in Baltimore, 83, right? They tell you it's for your safety, right?
No, it's not.
Listen, you can get 100 tickets, and as long as you can pay for it, you don't lose your license. You don't get a point on your license, right? So, what had that got to do with safety? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
right.
If I'm driving that dangerous, I get 100 tickets, man, take my driver license from me.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? But this is the kind of stuff they feed the people, and the people embrace this, saying, yeah, they protecting us. It ain't about protecting us. It's about raising revenue for the city
of Baltimore.
You know what I'm saying? They putting bike lanes. Listen, I say this all the time. They putting bike lanes all in the street. I do not know 10 black people that ride bicycles. I don't.
I never see any black people in the bike lane.
Not like that.
That's what I'm saying. So they telling you right now that they trying to create another atmosphere where you're not going to be here. They're going to push you out because they plan for another group of people to be here, right? So I'm saying,
Right.
Yes.
how much do you have to see before you believe what people that's fighting for you is telling you the truth?
Come
Absolutely.
on, Mr. Goody. Let me tell you something. Those white
Absolutely.
things in the street. Let me tell you something. I didn't hit about 20 of them things in the street. I said, who is riding bikes?
And let me tell you,
Ain't nobody
if
riding no
you
bikes.
drive in that
They
bike lane,
riding.
if you drive
Look, they
that bike,
riding dirt
you're gonna
bikes on the pavement. You
get
talking about bike
Really,
lane?
really.
it
You
catch
driving in
you,
these
you're
streets,
gonna
there
get
ain't
a huge
nobody
ticket.
riding bikes around there.
Yeah, I'm like, there's nobody in the, but you better not. Let me tell. I think now, I don't know, but I know it's a huge amount for driving in that bike lane. Yeah, you better stay out of that bike lane. That's what I do. Okay, we're gonna take final comments. My final comment: absolutely, don't believe the hype. Get out here, protest now. If protesting and rising up didn't do any good, none of us would be on this platform because Dr. J would not have this platform and we would not have the liberty of coming on here and speaking our minds. That's my final comment. Go ahead, Mr. Andre, and then we'll hear Ms.
Okay.
Van's comment and then we will dismiss.
I think we need to remind our viewers and listeners that the unemployment workers, we've had several protests, but we did win the first victory
I remember
when Governor Hogan
on a Saturday he lost.
wanted to
Take away that.
stop the unemployment benefits
Yes.
2 months before the deadline that President Biden had set. The Unemployed Workers Union organized and gathered its people together. We picketed the courthouse. We picketed
We
downtown.
did. I
We held
remember. I
press
was there.
conferences. And as a result of that, the first class action suit against the state of Maryland was to continue the unemployment benefits that President Biden said should go until September 1st, because Governor Hogan wanted to stop them in July 1st, trying to cite that no people are going, I guess he had friends that had businesses and some of their people didn't come back to work.
I think
Well,
so.
it's important to look at what are you paying those people? Are they still working for minimum wage or less? Because if you're working a restaurant and you're a waiter or waitress, you don't get paid minimum wage.
Right.
We tried to get a law passed to have a minimum wage in the state of Maryland, and that minimum wage was also to apply for waiters and waitresses that work and bartenders that work in restaurants and bars. And that portion of it did not pass. They would not raise, put a minimum wage for waiters and waitresses. And if people don't leave a tip, they've just made that person work for basically nothing.
Absolutely.
Because their wages are based on the tips that they leave.
Right.
So we have had a victory. So the
And we,
second,
and we've had other victories too. Yep, we've had. There are people who'll tell you, "Remember, I got my money. I got my money. I got my money."
Yes.
So we really, Miss Van, go ahead, make your final comment because we have to wrap it up. But
So my final comment is I really appreciate this platform being owned by an African American
something
woman.
happened.
Is that she gave us the
Go ahead, Miss
opportunity to
Van.
get out there and speak out, because had it not been for Dr. J for setting this
What's
platform,
going
we
on?
would be hidden in the back, and our shadows would just reveal nothing. So we just need to just keep on protesting, keep on pushing, and keep just coming out with the people. The more that we protest and come out in the street, maybe they'll follow. At least that's what I think, that they will follow. So that's my final comment. I appreciate everybody on this platform, because we're gonna keep on fighting and we're gonna keep on getting out and stepping on the ground with our boots. And for everybody that's on this commenting and tuned in, I appreciate you all. But we are speaking for you.
Bill,
You want
go
to say
ahead.
something, Mr. Goody? Go ahead, Mr. Goody.
Well, I just want to say this here real quick. Thank everybody. I'm thankful to have had an opportunity to be a part of this. Only thing I want to say is this: you know, and Andre mentioned George Floyd, which was a good person to mention because people all around the world came out. People have to look at just how they promoted the death of George Floyd. We getting killed, we're just not getting shot, right? So we have to look at George Floyd death the same way that we dying, and people have to have the same urgency to hit the streets just like they have for George Floyd.
And get your money. We can't do it by ourselves for you, but we can all come together and we can get out in the street and we can protest and make it happen. Because the more that we get out here and protest and to get, especially money, who don't want their money? If you sit back and you keep complaining, that we'll never get it done. So our time is being wrapped up. I appreciate Miss Joyce. I appreciate you, Mr. Goody, as always, and Andre. I could just squeeze you. So we're gonna tune out and let Lady J go to her next show. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.